Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 12 of Build a Store in 21 Days. My name is Alaa Hassan, and again, we meet live for this video. And today we're going to be doing the concept of adding content to your About Us page. So, as always, I'm going to make sure that people get notified within the Facebook group that I am live. We'll wait for a couple of people to show up. I am early, I know. And you guys know the drill. Whoever is coming online right now, let me know in the comments. Do you hear me well? You see me? All is good? In the meantime, I'm going to continue setting up on my side. It's been a beautiful day today. Hope it was the same for you guys. Perfect. Let me do this. Excellent. So I'm seeing people joining in. I'd rather start earlier, make sure that there are no glitches. It's been a great 12 days so far. Well, today. All good, clear. Hey, Oban. Good. Thank you. Excellent. Oban is joining in. Let me see. Why is it that... Excellent. How do you like it so far, Oban? I know that you just joined the challenge. How do you like it so far? Is it what you expected? I always ask for feedback, especially before the session starts. Curious to hear your thoughts so far from your first impressions when you logged in. Is it easy? Is it easy to use the Facebook group as well, go through all the units? It's a quiet day today in the group. I don't see usually, but mind you, I'm still early, so it's still a minute before 8. So today should be a great session. We'll cover a bunch of things to consider within your About Us page. We'll go over a couple of pointers, some tips. I'll share also some tricks on how to go about getting some inspiration as well. So Oban is saying it's a bit too early, but from my first impressions, it seems to be very well organized. Great, so well organized. That's a good. I'm looking for keywords again, so I like to have some descriptive reviews about the group and the challenge itself. Excellent. So we'll see how things will progress. I don't see a lot of people right now. So, do you have any specific, while we wait for everybody to join, because now it's 8 o'clock. Oban, do you have any questions? Are you thinking about going into a specific category of products that you want to go in, or you're just here to really learn the skill of creating the store? Or you're thinking about selling a specific type of product? You don't have to tell me the name of the product. Are you looking at a specific category of products? Really curious to know as well. All right, people started showing up now. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I know I logged in a little bit earlier, but you know what? The tech is all taken care of. So you're in. You don't have to test things for me. I know it works, but nonetheless, say hello. I always like to see who's. I don't see. Oh, now I see names. So Ali, Katrina, Sunny, excellent. Familiar faces are joining in. The tribe is joining. What's happening, guys? Ladies, good evening. Good evening. Good to see you guys. Just make sure my phone is also on silent right now. It's been ringing a lot. Yeah, so today's session is going to be pretty interesting. I think so far it is the main one that we're starting when it comes to filling out a page. A lot of the previous sessions were simply to create the pages for your shop and eventually start adding content. But now today we're actually going to look at ways of how to display the content in your About Us page. I'll give you some tips on ideas on how to go about getting inspired on the web, what to look for. I'm not an amazing writer myself. I don't even like writing. When I write, I just like to write as I speak. The same thing when I speak as well. I try to use very easy to understand, comprehend language that you can easily understand. That is important. So for me, this page, I decided to start with the About Us page because it has some critical elements that need to be included, because it's one of the pages that people will look at, especially if they're new to your store, new to the brand. So I wanted to make sure we put a lot of effort into this. Excellent. So people are joining in. It's now 2 minutes. Oban, for now, I definitely need the skills. I do have an idea of product, but I'll let you know. Excellent. Great. So I was asking Oban what made him what is it that he's looking for in terms of the challenge, because he just recently joined us, and really it's about acquiring the skill. Excellent. So you know what? Let's get started. So respect everyone's time. I'm going to share my screen right here. Let me go in. Perfect. Let's get started. So welcome everybody. And today, again, remind you that today's topic is all about adding content to your About Us page. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to consider when creating the content for this page. So again, as always, I'm going to give you a couple of tips, and we'll go over also some points about what to include, and then I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing that I want to make sure that when you write, why do you have the About Us page? Again, we want to show who's behind the brand, who's behind that online store, build a connection, establish a connection, and then eventually build upon it as you start communicating with customers, whether it's through the website, email marketing, social media, you name it. The first thing that you need to consider when creating this type of content, and even before you start writing it on an outline bullet form, it's to persuade customers. You need to persuade readers, make them take action. At this point right now, what is the main action we want them to take when they come to your online store? Very simple. It's to buy your product, right? So you need to persuade them as to why they should buy your product and make them actually take that action of purchasing those items. So the About Us page is all about persuasion from the get-go. Second thing, a lot of times whenever someone reaches out to me to work on their store, to help them, give them some guidance, I always click on the About page or the About Our Story page just to learn more about how much effort was put into it. And a lot of times I can say, people do not put enough effort in the content on that page. They feel that, you know what, let me just put a small little paragraph of what the brand is all about. That's it. Instead, you should really spend a lot of time gathering insights, brainstorm ideas, outlining this page, and really have someone even edit the content in terms of the writing to make sure that it flows properly if you don't like writing. So you really, if there's one page I would recommend that you put a lot of effort in terms of creativity, it's that page. The About Us is critical, especially when you guys are launching the store for the first time. You need to put something in there that helps you establish a connection with the readers, the shoppers, eventually who will become customers of yours. When you create the content, the third thing you need to consider is you not limit yourself to one type of content. You need to put texts, but when you put in text in this paragraph, in this page, you don't start just putting everything in one paragraph. Leverage headlines, subheadlines, bullet points, bold titles, underlines, you name it. I mean, you saw inside Shopify, in that box where you put in the content, you have a lot of features available that can enable you to change the layout, the style of the writing within that page, so that when people look at it, if they arrive on the page, you're making it easy for them to scan through the content without even reading it fully. They can scan through the page, immediately read the headlines, and they somewhat have an idea of who's behind the brand. So you really want to make sure that you leverage every possible feature inside Shopify to make this content, this text, fun, easy to browse, easy to scan, and also easy to read. Fourth point is, again, the concept of making it easy to scan. When you overwhelm consumers, shoppers, as they come to your website with a big paragraph, I mean, look at yourself, how you behave when you see immediately someone on Facebook putting in a massive paragraph in their post. A lot of time we're just going to skip through it. But if they start writing in terms of, let's say, one line, one sentence per line, and eventually later on they have headlines or that, it catches your attention. That's how we read content. We don't simply start immediate. There are people that obviously read every single word, but most of us scan through the content on a page. And that's how newspapers used to do it, newsletters, even right now, websites, blogs, or news websites as well, like New York Times, you name it. So really the concept of making it easy to scan is critical. So you grab their attention and you make them stay and continue reading, because the headlines play a huge role. And making it possible for them to scan it starts with the right headlines. Use visuals. And don't limit yourself to text. There is no excuse right now in 2020 that you have an About Us page with just text. Everyone has a smartphone. If you don't have one, your friend has one, whoever. And if you're getting into e-commerce, you need a smartphone because you can actually conduct the whole business from this device. A lot of smartphones nowadays have phenomenal cameras. You can easily take a picture of those cameras so that you could take a picture of yourself using these cameras, and as well as you can have someone take it for you. So there's no excuse as to why you can't have some nice visuals. Next, using videos is also another opportunity. These cameras on our smartphones are truly phenomenal right now. So leverage those to your advantage to help you build out even a small little video. If you don't like writing, start with a video, speak to the screen, eventually record this, send it to someone that could literally transcribe it, write it for you, and just in the end, you have a video as well as some text that you can put in on the page. You have a lot of options that you cannot skip this part of the challenge. You need to invest a lot of time on this page and make it interesting so that people decide to buy your product. So make it persuasive. That's really as a whole what I believe that you should focus on. I can go on and on, by the way. When it comes to an About Us page, in my course, I go through the About Us page in a lot of details. But for the purpose of this challenge, I want to keep it simple so you guys take action. Not just one paragraph. I'll show you what to include so that you have many things that you can include on that page so that you make it very interesting. Which brings us to the second point, what to include. And this is the last part before we do it ourselves. So I kind of gathered a list of questions, and it's all the five W's, the who, the where, the why, and the how as well. So we'll cover some of those, and it gives you kind of a good foundation to get you started. So the first thing I usually say is, as soon as I land on the page, I need to know who's behind the brand. It could be you, it could be someone, it could be whoever it is. Give an idea of who is behind the brand, who created the product, who are the people even behind the brand. It could be you and your spouse, it could be you and your best friend, it could be you alone, it could be a bunch of people, brothers, sisters, families, you name it. Who is behind the brand? Who actually came up with the idea of creating this business, this product, you name it. And it's not about just saying, my name is Alaa Hassan, I'm the creator of yogastore.com. No, give more insight about who you are as a person. Again, make it interesting. This is the opportunity that you have to build a connection with that shopper. You could know easily who I am by just like Googling me or go on my Facebook, you'll see my name. I need more info about who you are because that's where things start building up together with regards to the relationship that you have with your clients. Talk about where you're located. Here's the best part about this thing, because if I'm located, let's say in the USA, let's say I'm going to use Canada because that's where I'm located, but I'm located in Canada and I talk about Canadian values, the culture. Let me go a little bit deeper. I'll talk about my city, Montreal. I talk about landmarks. I've been living here for a very long time. This is where I grew up, the neighborhoods, all that stuff. If I am targeting people within my country, my province, my city, that description of where I am located, where it all started, builds also a connection. I can relate to you. Oh, wow, that person, he or she grew up in that neighborhood. Oh, I have a friend who grew up there. And that brings up additional points to talk about with your friends. Oh, I bought this product from this website. Oh, did you know that this product is made in Montreal, for example? Again, the where is not just saying, I'm from Montreal, Canada, that's it. Be a little bit more descriptive to a point that I actually maybe, let's say, if I am all the way based in New York or Texas, and I know that you guys are based out of Canada, for example, I feel like coming to Montreal and visit you. And the same you could do with New York, with San Francisco, you name it. Again, try to become almost like a tourist guide where you can really persuade people to actually come and visit the city where you're creating those products. That's how much details that you need to bring in within the About Us page. Third, talk about why you do it. What made you, not what made you, but why you do what you do in this space. It could be about your profession. So let's say you are, I'm just going to come up with, let's say you're a real estate agent and you have an online store. Why you do the real estate business? What is it that you love about it? Or you're in the yoga business and during the day you're a nurse and then at night you're into yoga. That's when you start getting your certifications. But what is it that makes you want to become a nurse? What satisfaction do you get out of this? Again, persuade us in knowing, my God, this person is so passionate about what they do that I love the energy that I get from them. communicate all of this information. Again, that's why I say the about us is critical. It's not just a small little paragraph. Go deeper in what it is that you stand for, your culture, whatever it might be. So again, the why you do it is critical. Then, what led you into the business you're at? What's your story? Is it something you decided just to launch because you needed it in your lifestyle, and eventually you said, oh, you know what, I'm sure there are other people that may need this type of product? Is it something that led to you there because you're a stay-at-home parent and you really wanted to generate a second income? Was it because you wanted to drop your 9-to-5 job and you wanted to build? Again, you want people to relate to you and then support you in what it is that you came up with in regards to the product you're selling. So what led you into this business? Inspire them. Again, it's not just about, I just want to make money. Of course, we're doing this because we're trying to make money, but sometimes there's more to it. What led us to it is more than just money. Something had to bring us to this point to decide, you know what, I'm going to sell these mugs, I'm going to sell yoga mats, I'm going to do that stuff. It's more than just money. And if there aren't any reasons other than money, you could talk about that. I'm looking for ways of supporting my family. Why? So I could provide for them for their schooling. Why? I want them to be successful. I didn't have that when I was young. I couldn't finish school and I want to provide for my kids. Why? And so on and so forth. Really start sharing all that knowledge, that information. So again, start nurturing that relationship that you have, that initial relationship that you have with the shopper. Another thing that you can talk about, when did you launch the business? So a lot of times people might launch the store 3, 4, 5 years ago. And you know what? You might be also in the business and you have a lot of credibility. So let's say, for example, I am a yoga instructor. I've been doing yoga for the last 10 years, but only in the last 3 years, I decided to launch this online store. That's great. That establishes trust, credibility in what it is that I do. It's not about just selling yoga mats and yoga blocks and equipment and fashion and apparel. I've been doing yoga for a very long time. So it allows you to talk about your experience and your credibility. And again, if I go back to one of the sessions, I spoke about avoid being just a generalist online within your online store. You want to become more of a specialist, a credible person within your niche, within your industry. And you drill down deeper and deeper into what industry you want to cater to. So in my situation right now, you could say, for example, let's say for the yoga store that I'm putting up for this challenge, I can talk about how many years I've been doing yoga, how many groups of people have I coached, and eventually what led me to launch my online store. Is it because I have yoga programs that I'm already selling to local customers that in the end I decided to also sell mats and blocks and all that stuff? Again, communicate all that information. Let them know more than just, this is who I am. The before last thing that you should include is, why should people buy from you? Again, that goes about the value proposition of, why should I buy your product and not the one that the competition is selling? And right now I could tell you the competition will be Amazon. Amazon has everything you can think of. So why should I buy your mat on your website and not go to Amazon and get something cheaper? Talk about that. That's the value proposition. What else do you do? Are you supporting a specific cause locally? Are you employing specific people locally? Are you doing something above and beyond what a typical online store like an Amazon would do, which is really just sell any type of product and sell volumes of it at the lowest price? Talk about that. Why should people buy from you? And if you guys don't remember, just go back and when we talk about the branding, I forgot, I think it was either day 2 or day 3, I think. Day 3 or day 4, coming up with a brand name. Go over that video and you'll see a lot of points that I brought up in terms of what differentiates you is critical at this point. And again, it's not just about features of a product. It's your story is what makes you unique. Again, we're talking about your story at this point on this page. The last thing, which is really one of my favorites, is also, how do you create and operate? So how do you build your products? If there's a special process that you go through, let's say you create handmade, sculptures of some sort. Why don't you describe the process using visuals, shots? Have someone take pictures of you making it in different angles during the different process, at different stages of the process. Or make a video easily describing the machines you use. I mean, you don't want to give them your secret. You're not giving them the ingredients of your recipe, but give them screenshots or some sort of parts of the process, obviously, so that they get an idea of how much work is involved when it comes to creating your product. If you don't have, obviously, if you're sourcing the product from somewhere else, then Ask that person to give you some insights about how they make those products. But you could also talk about the process you go through in terms of finding the right suppliers. You look at maybe for suppliers that operate ethically, sustainable practices that are friendly to the environment. That's also some way or another the way you go about creating those products. You're bringing them, you're not literally making them, but you go through a special process when it comes to figuring out who to source these products from. You don't need to mention the names of these companies or that, just the process that you go through when it comes to creating this product or bringing it from wherever it is that you're buying it from. What do you look for? And the operate part is, I love the behind the scenes, the people behind the company, the people that are packing, the people that are shipping, the people that are doing customer service, the people that are involved in your business. And the people could be literally your family, your employees, or even just your pet even. That pet you might be just living alone at home and you have a pet, a dog, and that dog is the only companion that you have while you're operating the business. Take a picture of that. Talk about your dog. Talk about everything that your dog does during the day. Again, build a connection so that people eventually get persuaded and saying to themselves, you know what? I want to support this person. It's more than just buying yoga mats, or it's more than just buying sculptures or handmade t-shirts, whatever it is, There's more to the story, to this person. And I want to buy their products because I love what they stand for. I love their upbringing. I love everything they do. And the fact that they live in Canada, they live in New York, they live in San Francisco. It's my city. I love it. Let me do this. I want to buy from them because especially nowadays, I don't know if you guys agree with me, is the fact that we're focused a lot on local initiatives, especially with what's happening in the world right now. We want to support local businesses because we know that a lot of people are suffering at this point. So again, use the About Us page to communicate everything that I talked about today and make sure that it's just easy to read. So, and I'm going to share now a couple of tips in terms of getting inspiration and where should you go about it. That's it for theory. And now we're going to start going into more the process of building this page. So let me see if there are any questions right now. Okay. So what if we don't have any extensive experience prior to opening the store? What should we say? So again, I think I covered that. If you're new to it all, talk about the whole journey of getting started. Again, it's not about just saying I'm a beginner. What led you to it? Talk about the fact that you went to school, let's say, or you're working at your 9-to-5 job and you're trying to build something for yourself. Again, it all depends on how you're positioning the brand. That's why it's very important for you to watch the video about creating a brand name and using that as a way to transition into the About Us page. So communicating all that. And you know what? People like the fact that if you're honest and authentic, they feel it. So you don't want to fake it. And eventually they go on social media, they say, oh, wow, this person says this on their website, but on social media, like they say they love yoga. I do yoga all day long. I mean, just yoga is my passion. And then if I go on their personal page or I go on their Facebook, whatever it is, on Instagram, I start seeing that they're not even into yoga. They're not talking about yoga, or I don't even see a picture of them in yoga clothes, for example. You want to make sure that everything is consistent with how you want to position yourself and the brand, depending on the angle you go with. And again, just refer back to that video and it should help. You're not writing like a whole book about yourself. Really, again, 3 paragraphs, a couple of pictures, a video is more than enough. I mean, you don't need to go too detailed as well. Again, it all depends on your story. You don't want to go to a point where it gets boring and people just leave the website. Make it interesting. Don't just start putting in content because you need to make sure you have content. Make it interesting and persuasive. So here's a couple of tricks I want to show you in terms of how to go about coming up with ideas. So the first tip is, let's see what the competition is doing. That's the first thing. Who are the competitors in the space? And the best place to go first is Amazon. So let's say if I type in yoga mat, let's put 2 T's. So let me look for a brand that has a lot of here. This brand has about 21,000 ratings. Balance from. Let me go to their page. And sometimes, by the way, that information is available. Sometimes it's not. So I'm just going to take a chance to see if they have unfortunately, they don't have a nice page about the brand. Let me scroll down if we see anything here. Balance from. No, I don't see it. So sometimes you get ideas as to what brands what differentiates brands. And sometimes, unfortunately, I don't want to waste time looking for that, but sometimes some of these brands are just on Amazon. They're not. Maybe if I go on, let me see if I have this Balance Yoga. I'm gonna go on Google, which was my next thing. Amazon. I want to see if they have a website. Very Well Fit. Oh, Balance Form. Let me see. So that could be their website. What I would do, again, this is not the main competition, but I'm going to see if there's anything. See, these guys, they do well on Amazon, and they don't even have, and this is what happens a lot with Amazon brands. They don't put a lot of effort into their website, but they just have a catalog. So it's a strategy, and it's funny, they're using the same template I'm promoting. So in this case, again, that's not the right example. Try to look for a brand that has a lot of ratings, and then start doing this exercise of seeing, scrolling down on the page to see if they're writing something that is specific to the brand, and start taking note of the different angles they go about describing what the brand stands for. And you do this on the website, on Amazon, and you gather some of those ideas. Now, that's one way. The other way is really going to Google. And what I will do here is yoga mat. I'll add the word plus Shopify. So maybe bring up some Shopify stores. And then I start looking at some brands like Jade Yoga, let's say. The best eco-friendly yoga mats. That's a nice way of differentiating themselves. Let me close this. Who we are. Too many pop-ups. So overview. Let me see. I think that's the page. So our history. You see they're using some headlines. Jade Yoga began in earnest in 2000. See, they start talking about where, when, how it all started, the beginning, the picture of the person behind it, and it's even a signature, their mission. So that's what I'm talking about. You start, again, you can go after the big brands in your category. So look for them on Google, and then eventually you can start searching for brands that sell this product. So I remember this this brand was on Instagram here, cork-based type of yoga mats. See this here right now, how long that takes the website to load? People are not going to wait, so I'm not even going to bother. See, right away, that's why I say start on Shopify. It's fast. I'm going to look for this. Oleo yoga mats. They're using a Shopify. This is the Brooklyn theme. So again, they didn't even clean up their, look how hard it is to read. Home, everything we talked about in this challenge, they're making the same mistakes. So home, catalog, not enough. They have this. Do they have an About Us page? Nope. That for me, not enough effort. So I would look for a bunch of yoga sites that sell this product. I would look at their About Us page. I'll try to get some ideas. And the other thing that you could do is really also get inspired from the brands that usually you shop from right now. And if you have a local brand that you love and support, go to their About page and see what they talk about. So here's an example. Beard brand. You know, these guys do a really good job at this. Oh, beardbrand.com, sorry. Beard products. So I can come in here. I think they have a company About Us. These guys are well established. They have a lot of content. Our story starts here. The year that's really like, oh, great. I'm going to start reading this. You see some visuals. You see the whole concept. I don't know who this person is. Maybe these are the people behind it, the community, then to a business, a lot of their vision, their value, their mission statement, all that information is here. Again, take it to the next level, add some videos, again, make it fun to read so that I feel like there's a connection and I want to support you. So I search on Google, I search on Amazon to get a lot of ideas, and then I start outlining everything before writing. And then eventually I start putting in all that text and start building the page. Now, let's say you drafted everything into a Google Doc. You go inside your online store. And what you do is you click on online store right here from your dashboard, click on pages. Let me increase the size. I'm going to go to the About Us page. In this case, I called it Our Story. And this is the paragraph where you put in that information. So I'm going to use examples I'm just going to copy paste from other pages just to have content. But let's say, for example, I always say at least find one picture of you, the people behind the brand. Again, add a face to the brand. add some personality to it. So find something. In case, let's say, I don't have anything right now, so let me go on Unsplash, which again is a website for free images, and I'm gonna look for family picture. Oh, I like this. Let's say it looks like a real person. I'm gonna download this picture. Now, before I use it, make it a habit of always changing the size because it's too big. All us, 7,000 is a lot. So I'll just put it at 2,000 pixels. Save, and that's it. So let's say this is your picture. People like to see visuals immediately. So I'm gonna use that picture first. Upload file, download. There you go. Take this picture. I'll add, again, an alt text is the description of what this picture is all about. Just my name is Alaa Hassan. Well, this one is like, let's say Stephanie, creator of Yoga Shop. And I'm gonna put the exact size, original, or you can choose different sizes. Insert image. Oh, I totally forgot. No, I shouldn't do that. So you can double click it and, oh, you know what? I can edit the image too if I want to. This is, sometimes I forget that there's a feature inside Shopify to do that. You know what? Just let me make it easy. Let me redo it again. It's right here. Stephanie, creator of Yoga Shop. I'm gonna put a different size. Let's say, I'm gonna do 600 by 600. It's okay. Oh, I forgot again. I have to keep, you know what? I'm just gonna put the original. Let me see what happens. Give me a second. Let me see if it should, yeah, it doesn't. So I don't have to worry about it. Shopify is gonna resize it to the page. So, and because my page is very big right now, so I'm gonna do it at 100, so at least it looks good. So if I'm inside the store and I click on about, perfect, the image looks good. So it was also my screen. So let's say the image is right here. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna start let's say our story. I'm gonna do this, our story, in a different format. I'm gonna put it as a headline. No, the story is here. I'm gonna put a headline because right now what happens is the title right here is the headline. So you don't wanna put two headlines in one page. It's recommended to always have one main headline. This is the headline right here. H1, limit that H1 to the title. You don't wanna have too many H1s in one page. From a search engine optimization, Google doesn't like that. I don't wanna go too technical, but just make sure a page has only one headline. And usually it's the title right here. So that's why I'm not adding it. Who am I? Let's say. Do this, I'm gonna do this one as H2. And then I'm just gonna take some text right now from a page right here, let's say. So you have your content, fill that up. Then I'm gonna put another headline where it all started, let's say. That's gonna be headline number 2. And then I'm gonna also put in here another paragraph of something I wrote, or let's say 2 lines. There you go. And let's say, for example, I'm gonna take a picture of people in a warehouse. So let's say I'm gonna look for a picture of a warehouse. I'm gonna put this picture here of John. He's our forklift operator, and I wanna make sure that we include him because John is very, very special. And do this. Where did it go? Let me open it right here. Tools, adjust size. So I'm gonna make sure that people see John, forklift driver. So I'm gonna talk about, let's say, how we operate, everything else. I'll put a video. Again, you guys go through the exercise itself, but I just wanna show you how easy it is to make it interesting so that people actually wanna continue reading And it's small little changes to the About Us page like that that make a difference. I'm gonna do this. And if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna be almost done. So John, John warehouse, whatever. I'm so bad at coming up with I usually like to plan things, so coming up live with that content right now is hard. So then you add additional headlines, additional text based on what I spoke about today in terms of what to include here, who you are and all that. So again, that's why I say before you start writing the About Us page, write it in a Google Doc, organize your thoughts, organize your ideas, outline the whole page, and eventually start writing. Get it all edited, select some pictures, 2-3 pictures. Don't go crazy. You don't need to, I don't want you to delay the whole process, but even one picture of you with the family, or you making the product, or you on the computer. It's not about, even if you don't making it, it's okay. Just you showing yourself, the people behind the brand showing themselves, that makes a big difference. And you want to really make it even easier, just get on a camera, make a quick video of how it all started, what's so special about it. You don't need to script everything. Just make it natural. Again, sometimes it's hard for people, so use images if you want, but don't limit yourself to only text. People just simply don't read. They scan through pages, but leveraging images and videos does make a big difference. So now everything is done here. Let's see. I'm going to save it. Now, remember, when we talk about optimizing the page, make sure your SEO here, all your page, the title of the page is properly written. There's a description as well. All that stuff we already covered. So make it a habit of making sure that all of this information is visible and properly described within the page so that it's well optimized for Google. So that's done. I'm going to save it. I'm going to view the page right now. So if somebody comes into the website, wow, premium non-toxic yoga mats. That's interesting. Who's behind this brand? I click on the About. Oh, beautiful family. Everyone loves babies. Beautiful connection. Boom. I'm interested now. Oh, who am I? Let me read this. Where it all started. Oh, who's this person? Again, you see, the page looks different immediately by just putting in people in there. And then when you start putting videos and you're showing people how you pack your products, how you create them, how do you operate and all that stuff, it becomes a beautiful page that eventually persuades people to do what? Purchase your products. And that's it for today. I hope that made a kind of like a case as to why the About Us is important. Any questions about anything that was shared, spoken at? Simo was talking about this is also, it's great for ADA compliant. You mean ADA? What do you mean by ADA compliant? I know there's a concept of ADA, which is when you start writing, grab the attention, generate interest, create a desire, and then take action. So ADA, if that's what you mean, Simo, all text on the pic. Oh yes, for the alt text, yeah, for disability. Okay, yeah, for the disability. So yeah, what we describe pictures, the alt value. They remember when I put in the description of what the picture is all about. This is important also for compliance with the disabilities. That people that have disabilities, when they browse the internet, in case they're blind, they rely on these descriptions to see, oh, what's on this page. So that's why it's important to put in that. But Google also leverages that as a way to understand what this picture is all about. Perfect. Bilal says, oh, the American Disabilities Act. There you go. He has the answer. Excellent. Bilal, all clear and well explained. Good. Good to see you, Bilal. I'm happy you joined us. Bilal is one big real estate guy here in Montreal. So he wants to learn the art of creating an online store. So it's a great skill to have. Any additional questions that you guys have about Us page? Again, you use this concept of building out pictures, illustrations in any type of website. It's not just e-commerce. So even if you have a about page in your personal page, it could be your blog, whatever it might be. It's a nice way to build a connection quickly with people who arrive on it. All right, I don't see any additional questions. So your task today, guess what you're building? Your about page. So make sure to add content to everything that you want to include. And so that next time we meet, we're going to talk about other pages that need to be filled out. Again, make sure to leverage all the technologies that you have at your disposal and avoid giving yourself excuses as to why you can't have something interesting on this page. Take the time, brainstorm ideas with the closest people that you know, talk about you, the brand, the people behind the brand, what it stands for, and you see that in the future, when you launch your online store, it's going to have an impact on the shoppers that come to your website. If there are no other questions, then we're going to leave that. Perfect, Oban. Everything good on your end? Perfect. You're welcome, Bilal. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you guys found this useful. We'll meet again tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to talk about, which I forgot. What are we talking about tomorrow? Day 12. 13. So we're going to add content to your help pages. So we're talking about shipping page, payments page, returns policy. Those are very, very important. In this situation, it's just easy to write. You're not putting a lot of images and pictures. You don't need to be creative. You need to be specific. And tomorrow we're going to cover each of those. So it should be also a very easy session. Thank you very much. Hope you guys liked it. Like the video, put in comments. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and have a nice evening.